Greetings, my friends. I am Lonesome, and this show is so scary, so terrifying. It could only be produced with the smallest of budgets and shot entirely in one location. The house I currently haunt. And, as a way to save on travel expenses, all of my guests are interviewed
virtually.
So sit back and hang on for dear life in the new paranormal. My guest today is a jack-o'-lantern of all trades and a master of none. Please welcome Dane Neves.
Lonesome, hi.
Dane, let's begin with a lightning round. Favorite movie?
Jurassic Park.
What candy would you trade your soul for?
Goobers. They're these chocolate-covered peanuts.
Where do you see yourself in the next 15 minutes?
Turning into this. Yo, what up, Lonesome?
What is your most unhinged idea for a movie that would absolutely bomb, but you'd still make it?
A while back, one of my friends and I came up with this idea called McChicken and Me. It's about a cop that gets partnered with a McDonald's McChicken sandwich, and they go around the city solving crimes. So, McChicken and Me.
What's the pettiest reason you'd haunt someone?
I don't know, probably someone calling my dog ugly or something.
Same. And I must say, Dane, I absolutely love your speaking voice.
Stop. Your voice is pretty spectacular too, I must say.
Oh, stop. You flatter me, which is odd because flattery requires ego, perception, and a nervous system to process compliments, none of which a ghost like me has.
Okay.
Let's begin the interview, shall we? Could you briefly walk me through your history as a mortal being?
Sure. Well, born and raised in Hawaii. I went to the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where I majored in filmmaking.
Now, wait. I'm interviewing another filmmaker. I've had like 10 on this show already. How original. Continue, I guess.
So I graduated from college in 2007, and the idea was for me to move to Hollywood and become the biggest director in the world. However, right after that, the economy tanked, and that was when we had that big recession.
Oof, yes, that recession got so bad wives were having sex with their husbands because they couldn't afford batteries, and people were getting pre-declined credit cards in the mail, and pictures were only worth 200 words, so yeah. What was your plan after college?
So it wasn't a good idea for me to just pack up and leave with just a suitcase and a dream. So I stayed home, and I started working for a television company called Olelo Community Media, where I learned so many things that I couldn't have learned in the classroom. I was given the opportunity to direct, produce, be a technician, train people to create television shows for airing. I was shooting PSAs, commercials, music videos, concerts, conferences, parades, talk shows, everything under the sun. And it was such a valuable experience.
Well, that's something positive. Was there still hope for you to be the filmmaker you always wanted to be?
While I was working for Olelo, I was also making my own short films on the side because I figured no one was going to give me that chance but me.
Wrong. I know plenty of trickster demons that would gladly make you a deal to make your wildest dreams come true.
Right. So, let me back up a little bit.
No. Allow me to back up a little. I'm curious, did you always want to be a filmmaker?
When I was a little kid, I really wanted to be an animator, but over time I realized I didn't have the patience or the skill to do that. So I started playing around with puppets because puppets were kind of like animated characters that I could breathe my own life into, and they were tangible.
Oh no! Not only am I interviewing another filmmaker, but another puppeteer too? I've honestly lost count of how many puppeteers have been on this show already. All right, Let's get on with this.
So in college, I made a little rule for myself where every single one of my creative projects had to incorporate a puppet of some sort. This was just so I could, stand out a little from my peers.
Interesting. Did you have a college thesis film?
I did have a college thesis film. My college thesis film was called The Monkey Boy Fever. It was the story of a boy who gets bitten by a monkey on the eve of his senior prom and transforms into a monkey himself overnight.
Ooh, monkeys.
That was the first film of mine that screened in a real movie theater, and it was also the first film of mine that won an award. And that was a huge confidence boost for me. It told me that I was doing things right.
What did it feel like to watch your work flicker to life on the big screen, surrounded by an audience experiencing it together for the first time?
Oh, it was the most amazing experience in my life up until that point. But before I went to that event, I visited my hairstylist who was also a filmmaker, and she gave me a short film clip.
Would you like to host this show, Dane?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I thought. We're going to pause for just a moment to welcome back some familiar spirits. For this 100th episode, I've invited past guests to return to the new paranormal, and they've brought some chilling messages to share. Let's take a look.
What do you call a pumpkin that works at the beach? A lifeguard.
Which Halloween candy is never on time to a party? Choco Late.
Where does Dr. Frankenstein keep his spare body parts? In his organizer.
What does the Undertaker like to drink? A margarita. Cheers. God, that was stupid. Kill me. Kill me now. That was so dumb. I cannot believe I did that.
Wasn't that precious?
Yeah.
Precious, precious, so precious. So great.
So remember that rule I told you about where every single one of my creative projects had to have a puppet in it? That carried on into my independent films. The first truly independent film I made was called The Green Tie Affair, which featured the voice of Hawaii's first American Idol, Jordan Segundo, as a puppet living in a human world who wears a fancy green tie every day.
Like this?
One day, he sees everyone around him wearing the same green tie, and that kind of rocks his world. It was a movie about establishing your identity, and it was a musical.
I got my green tie, feel like I can touch the sky. Looking good, it's understood, I just can't lie.
Ooh, a puppet musical? I'm listening, which is odd because I'm a ghost and I have no functioning auditory system. Anyway, you were saying about the Green Tie Affair?
I wrote 4 original songs for that, and it ended up winning so many awards. People really loved it, and I felt like that was the film where people started to see me as a filmmaker, as a serious filmmaker, which was pretty great.
Congratulations on that. You got me hooked now. What other puppet films do you have under your belt?
So right after The Green Tie Affair, I made Giant Monsters Attack Hawaii, which is like my version of a Godzilla movie, with puppets, of course.
Of course.
So that one was pretty fun because we were working with monster puppets with really interesting textures. I think it was kind of like this rubbery, foamy texture, unlike the Green Tie Affair puppet, which was more like a Muppet.
Ah, very strategic. Give those monsters some realism. By the way, what does Godzilla do part-time when he's not destroying cities? He flips houses! How did Giant Monsters Attack Hawaii challenge you as a filmmaker?
This is also the first time I ever worked with a visual effects artist. Shout out to Gio. That was a really eye-opening experience because it takes so much work and resources, and I applaud anyone working in the visual effects industry.
So you did Green Ties, you did Monsters. I can only assume your next project involved anthropomorphic fruits.
Next up was Poison Apple,
I knew it!
which is a story of Snow White told through the point of view of the infamous Poison Apple.
Cute!
And this was another musical of mine. That was actually my last true narrative short film.
Boys, we need to find whoever did this dirty deed.
Avenge the death of dear Snow White, we won't stop till they bleed. Take our axes, take our knives, the criminal will not survive. It's off to work we go, it's nearing dark, so let's proceed.
Just like my 10 musical guests that came before you, your original songs are real earworms. Could you talk about your shift from being a filmmaker with a side of music to being a musician with a side of film?
After I made Poison Apple, people in the community were starting to be aware that I was Hawaii's premier puppet filmmaker.
Ooh.
And in 2017, I was invited to write the libretto for the Pele Awards musical. So the Pele Awards is like the Oscar for Hawaii's advertising industry. All of the movers and shakers of the advertising community were going to be in one room, receiving awards, and also watching this show in between award presentations that I wrote. And with help from the show's producer, Jason Lent, we came up with this awesome Broadway-esque musical that was kind of making fun of the advertising industry. I wrote 10 songs, he wrote 1. We recorded a cast album in a professional recording studio. That was the first time I've ever done that. We released it on iTunes and Spotify in the name of charity. And that was an incredible experience because it was the first time I was surrounded by professional industry people for a project of mine, and that was just so valuable. We only performed it one time, just that one night, but it is available to watch in its entirety or scene by scene on YouTube or on my website.
From the moment life caves in, the world takes a spin, and then it feels like you can never win.
But you're here to say passion is the way, and I hope it's definitely here to stay. It's the best thing in life.
So just smile and say,
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. You know how everything can make me frown, but now we're taking over the whole town.
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. Just smile and spread the happiness around. Right now, we're taking over the whole town.
so we lost, so what? No frowns, the world keeps spinning round.
well, next year you can bet I'll take the crown. The tables have turned, what have we learned?
Nothing is given, everything is earned. Congrats to everyone here.
I gave my knees heartburn.
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. You know how everything can make me frown, but now we're taking over the whole town.
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. Just smile and spread the happiness around. But now we're taking over the whole town. We're taking over the whole town.
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. You know how everything can make me frown, but now we're taking over the whole town.
I'll have a good day,
And nothing's gonna take me down. Just smile and spread the happiness around. Right now, we're taking over the whole town.
I'd clap, but my hands would go right through each other.
And then I went on to record my own solo album, Felt Something Beautiful.
Wait, what?
What? I told you this would happen at the 15-minute mark.
Oh, you're right.
Anyway, the Pele Awards producer Jason Lent invited me to record my own solo album called Felt Something Beautiful. It was a concept album with all 10 songs performed by myself, Puppet Dane.
Wait. There's only so much puppet stuff I can take. Can we go back to human Dane?
Okay.
Thank you.
So Felt Something Beautiful was a concept album with 10 original songs by myself. But when I say original, they were actually longer, fuller versions of all the songs that I wrote for my previous puppet musical films.
I got my green tie, feel like I can touch the sky. Looking good, it's understood, you know I just can't lie. We're all dressed to the nines, green ties looking fine. Away we go, let's steal the show, now get out there and shine.
Well, that's a catchy tune. Then what happened?
So those are songs from The Green Tie Affair, Giant Monsters Attack Hawaii, Poison Apple, and some of the other puppet projects of mine.
By the way, do you make your own puppets?
No, I don't make my own puppets. I like to say that I'm a pilot, but I don't build my own airplanes. As an independent filmmaker, you're wearing so many different hats, and your headspace is just at capacity. So while I'm focusing on directing, writing, producing, writing the music, editing, catering, so I outsource the puppet building to seasoned professionals who I know will give me a quality project and deliver on time.
Now that is hauntingly good insight.
And they were great. I gotta give a shout out to the first puppet builder I ever worked with. His name is Eddie Horn. He did the puppets for Green Tie Affair, Giant Monsters Attack Hawaii, and Poison Apple. All of those puppets required different mechanisms, and he was so intelligent and creative on how to bring my vision to life. So thank you, Eddie. I also want to give a shout out to Jared Boucher, who created Puppet Dane, who is a doppelganger of mine.
One thing I've been dying to ask you about is your Halloween costumes over the years. Every October tells a story, and I want to hear yours. What were some of your most memorable looks, and what inspired them?
All right. Now that's the question we've all been waiting for. Halloween. I love Halloween. I feel like that's the time period where people are the most creative with costumes, decorations, food. It's so inspiring. And I need to thank my mom for kind of instilling that creativity in me. When I was a little kid, she would construct all of my Halloween costumes from scratch. This would include Captain Hook, Beetlejuice, Jafar, the Penguin from Batman Returns. As an adult, my costumes are kind of like bounding, where they are fashion-forward versions of famous characters.
Oh, I get it.
Groot,
Ooh.
Baymax,
Ooh.
a Minion,
Ooh, nice.
Mushu from Mulan, Vision, Sith Jar Jar Binks, Shrek, Robbie Sinclair from Dinosaurs.
Ooh, if I had a spine, shivers would be sent down it.
In 2010, I shaved my head and drew a big blue arrow on it, and I went as Aang in street clothes. It's so fun. It's just so fun.
What happens to the Avatar when he gets mad? He gets angry. Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins, please welcome another batch of my past guests.
Hi everybody! Where does a skeleton go for a fun night out? Anywhere, as long as it's a hip joint.
What type of image formats do monster photographers use? Roar!
What's the best costume for a weightlifter? A flexorcist. What do vampires use to make tea? Tampons.
I feel love for all of them, which is odd because love is a neurochemical process, and I'm a disembodied spirit without physical organs. Therefore, I don't have the machinery to generate or regulate those chemicals. What would you say, Dane, has been your most important creative project?
I think the most important film of mine was a documentary called Parental Guidance Suggested.
What did we do wrong? Is this just a phase?
Why did he wait so long to tell us?
Does this mean I won't have grandchildren?
Is he gonna have trouble keeping a job?
It featured real parents represented as puppets asking leaders in Hawaii's LGBTQ community questions on how to deal with the coming out of their gay son. It was a weird concept. It was a little hard to explain, but I felt like this was the film where I had the strongest statement to make. Fun fact about Parental Guidance Suggested: the day that I completed the last shot for the film was the day that Hawaii reported its first COVID-19 case.
Ew, that pesky coronavirus.
I was so lucky to have finished that film that day because I may not have gotten a chance to do it until months later.
Good. I watched a documentary on marijuana last night. That's probably how I'll watch all documentaries from now on.
The plan for all of my films was to send them to film festivals, and just like all the previous films of mine, I submitted this to a ton of film festivals, albeit virtually because of the pandemic. And just like all of my other films, this one swept the film festival circuit with awards. I feel like I'm really lucky. That reminds me of a funny story. The Monkey Boy Fever, my college thesis film, the one that got me my first award, I got that award through Hawaii International Film Festival's VOD Viewers' Choice Award, where people could go on their televisions, watch all of the selected short films, and vote on their favorite. Sure, it was a popularity contest, but I want to think that Monkey Boy Fever won a little bit because of its merit, right?
So, after almost 20 years of movies, music, and puppet mayhem, what's next, Dane?
What's next? Well, I love Halloween. I love puppets. Maybe one day I'll do a spooky themed talk show hosted by a puppet. Who knows?
I'd love to see that. Thank you, Dane, for shooting the sheet with me today.
Thank you, Lonesome, for having me on the show, and congratulations on 100 episodes.
It has been an honor. My friends, I must ghost you for now. Until next time, goodbye. Boo!